Okay, so like I said before, Leanne, just make sure it's speaker view, make sure everyone else's audio is muted as well. So we'll start the chanting in a moment. We're actually very lucky that we're doing the class today because we've had power outage here because of severe weather. In fact, ours just came on, it got reinstated, if you call it that, yesterday. So very lucky. Leisha says to say hello to everyone because her power up in the Dandenong Hills is still out. So quite a few people throughout the state that still don't have power. So we're very lucky. The Buddha's light is shining on us to use a little bit of dryness, a little bit of humor. So now we can focus on the chanting. Remember when you're doing the chanting to be aware, don't cling to and contemplate what it is you're saying, but have good understanding of the meaning and be aware and mindful as you do the chanting. Don't just do it just to, just like that. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dudayambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dudayambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dudayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tadayambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tadayambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tadayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. And may they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, Ava to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, Ava to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, Ava to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, Ava to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. So now I remind you that we're doing slightly shorter meditations with less instruction. If you still need the instruction or want to revise it, just check out for the meditation, long meditation on the 2nd of January. I reposted this a few weeks ago on my Facebook page. And also for the mantra, the understanding of mantra, there was the 16th of January, also reposted fairly recently. And if I get some requests to do the longer meditations again, or with the more clear instructions, the more detailed instructions, I should say, then I'm happy to implement that again. Okay, so you let me know. I'm here for you guys. So get yourself ready now for the meditation. In the beginning, we're going to release the tension from the body. So release the tension. Just a reminder, everybody, to not try to unmute. I can see somebody's trying to do it again now. So try not to unmute yourself, to leave it muted. Otherwise, what it does is it disturbs the sound of my voice and also the picture as well. It tends to go to someone else's picture, which quite often is nothing. It's sort of just an image of nothing. Okay, so just try your best not to do that. And just calming the body now, okay? Just relaxing your body, relaxing your mind, releasing whatever tension you may have from the lower part of your body, from your feet up to your midsection. And from your midsection up to your shoulders and down to the tips of your fingers. All around your neck and your head, the back, sides, your face, and to the top of your head. And now scan your body again from the bottom to the top, just to see if there's any more tension that you can release. Now bring your mind to your breathing. The feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out of your nose, into your lungs, all the way into your lungs and then out your nose. You don't have to do anything else right now. Just focus on this for this short time. Past is gone, future's not here. And if your mind becomes distracted with thoughts or some sort of mental feelings and the like, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. Don't try to forcefully push them away either or deny them. Just refocus on your breath, nice and peacefully, nice and calm. Refocusing on your breath. So let them come and go naturally. That mental agitation or mental movement. And also if you start to become a little dull mentally or sleepy, brighten your focus on your breath. And now we will practice like this for a few minutes in silence. So now you can feel very pleased with yourself for engaging in the practice and fill yourself with universal loving kindness. As we now engage in very brief loving kindness meditation. We first extend the loving kindness to ourselves and fill our whole being with this universal loving kindness. So much so that it now overflows outwards, radiates outwards to other living beings, initially to your loved ones and friends. Also to strangers. And even those that you may find difficult, may regard as enemies. And now radiate this loving kindness to all of the living beings around your immediate area. Further and further gradually throughout your whole state or county. Other states and counties and throughout your whole country. And other countries throughout the whole world. Throughout the solar system. In the galaxy. Have your loving kindness pervade the whole universe and throughout infinite space. And at the same time, be present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And so we'll continue with the questions and answers for the time being. And as some of you, or most of you know, that I've been getting questions either through messenger or email or texts and some phone calls even. So, and I've been answering the questions, not only there and then, replying to the question at the time, but also during these classes. I think it's been really good for us, beneficial for us to do this at the moment. But very shortly, either next week or the week after, depending on whether I get questions or not, we will start the new subject of the 6 paramitas, or 6 transcendental perfections of generosity, morality, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom. Okay, so we'll take some time to go through that as well. Maybe a little bit of overview for a few weeks, and each aspect probably maybe take 2 or 3 classes each as well. Depends, doesn't it? There's no time. So we don't have to rush anything, and we can go into good detail. I think if we rush things, which we as human beings tend to do sometimes, maybe we don't cover everything and be that clear, you know, so we won't rush. So today I have a few questions. The first one actually relates to what I spoke about last week. So like the question that came about, you know, should I avoid something like, should I avoid acting out against others, you know, like, you know, kind of reacting to some negativity maybe that's coming towards you, and then you kind of snap out at others. And so we actually spoke about it in reasonable detail last week, but I got a text message through Messenger from somebody, I think in Nepal or India, and they actually said, you know, could you expand upon that? So I'll do that a little bit today. But first of all, I'll reply to the question that came, I think, from Myanmar, and it relates. A person actually said, how do I know if I have attained the level of Sotapanna? Okay, Sotapanna is a Pali word. It's pronounced in Sanskrit as Shrutapanna. And this is in the Theravada path on the way to becoming an Arahant. So an enlightened being, realized, enlightened Arahant that has realized Nirvana, okay? There's 4 levels, there's 4 stages, you could say. The first one is Sotapanna, which means stream enterer. Now, the stream enterer is somebody that's now maybe got a little glimpse of the no-self teaching, okay? Or the experience of, or emptiness, you could say. Just a little glimpse of it. And then it is said that the Sotapanna, or stream enterer, there's no going backwards now, it is said, on the path. That's why it's called the stream enterer. The stream goes this way, you enter the stream, you continue to go that way. The stream doesn't go up the mountain, for instance, okay? And it is said that at very most, you will have another 7 lifetimes in samsara, but it could be quicker than that, okay, until you realize the state of an arahant. And the next stage is there's also the sakatagami, anagami, and like I said, arahant. Okay, so there's one is once returner, so you return once in the lifetime. Then there is the non-returner to the human life, and before attaining this nirvana. Okay, there's slightly different teaching. These teachings are within the Mahayana as well, but the goal is said to be different, isn't it? Your practice actually is aiming. Your intention for your practice is aiming to becoming a fully enlightened Buddha. Okay, unsurpassed, supremely enlightened. But we won't go into that today. So the question was, how does he know whether he has attained this stream enterer stage? My brief answer, and then I gave a little bit more detail. My brief answer is, I would imagine if you get to this stage that, actually, first of all, I said to him that if he has the chance, he should go and see a learned and experienced, very wise monk or nun or Dharma teacher, in his own country. So face to face, because when you have face to face, it's much easier for the teacher then to advise you, isn't it, for this type of thing. And so I said that, but then I also said, I think we would know. I don't think we would be asking the question, have I attained this stream enterer stage? I think we would already know. But possibly not too. Then, of course, how would we know if we're a once returner or a non-returner or arahant? I'd say you'd know. Okay, so I can go a little bit further with this. I've been asked the questions in the past, how do I know if I have perceived emptiness? I must say, first of all, we get a glimpse of emptiness. Then we need to absorb our mind with this glimpse, expand it, because the mind is not absorbed. Maybe the person who experiences this has experienced it in meditation. But once the meditation is finished, maybe it goes back into old habits. The old mental afflictions become more prevalent. Probably not, actually, because it would be a life-changing experience, of course, big time. So how would you know whether you attain that? I'd say that you would know. Because at the moment, let's say our knowledge, our knowing at the moment may be inferential. Even if we've gone beyond a little bit, we've turned our mind away from the worldly concerns so much and turned it towards enlightenment. Still, the knowledge we may have is inferential, inferring to scriptures or what you hear from teachers. And through contemplation, you get to know it a little bit more clearly. But then through contemplation and practice, like intense practice, consistent practice, then you get to have some sort of indirect knowledge or understanding. Then from there, we work towards direct or experiential knowledge and understanding. Once it gets to that stage, then you know, okay? I'll share a little experience, a really brief experience I had in the temple in America, of where I ended up laughing out loud at myself. Actually, it was quite a joyful experience. I don't claim to have any special realizations myself to this day, but this experience was really lovely. I was meditating outside, quite a warm night. The temple is in Orange County, Lianhua Temple, or the Lotus Flower Temple, in a place called Garden Grove, which is about an hour and a half south of Los Angeles, depending on traffic. And that's where I lived for a period with my master Chanting. Anyway, I was outside after teaching classes that afternoon, and there was this, it was just, I felt really calm, really at peace. You could almost say at one with the universe, that type of feeling, that everything just felt like it wasn't separate at all. Anyway, this raccoon family came down off the fence, and they're out at nighttime looking for food, aren't they? Probably cats or something. Anyway, and they can be quite dangerous apparently. So, but they came really close, and I just kept sitting there, and they just stayed there. And so I focused on that and the connection that maybe we had. We weren't separate living beings, that we're all interconnected. And they ended up sitting down and just staying there. I don't know for how long, quite a while. Anyway, it was just a lovely meditation. And then I heard the voice of my master. It was getting quite late, towards midnight, I think. And he said, time to go to sleep, And so I went, oh, okay. And then I realized, wow, I've been meditating a really long time. Did I just perceive emptiness? And then I thought, you know what, you idiot. You just ask yourself that. If you perceived emptiness, you wouldn't have to ask it. You just know. So anyway, so that's the answer. I did give that answer a little bit shorter and in writing to this person as well. Okay, so I just thought I'd share that experience with you. Yes, we can have wonderful experiences of meditation, and we progress. Obviously, if you practice correctly, accurately, and consistently, then you will always improve. And you get to stages where maybe they're like, in English, you can call them epiphanies, or you could say levels of realization, or you could also say enlightenment moments where you just wake up that little bit. But don't cling to it. Recognize it and go, yeah, fantastic. But don't actually grasp hold of it, because that will stop the progress. Even if they're very high states of consciousness, or very deep states of consciousness, I should say. Don't cling to it. Okay, so I hope you do have these experiences, and I'm very happy if you share them with me as well, as some of you have done already. So I think that covers that one. I know that this man here will watch the video once it's posted on Facebook, and I hope me giving maybe a slightly longer answer can help you as well. All right, so that's that one. How do we know if we have realized emptiness? Also, I wanted more questions came from the ideas of the Buddha images, Bodhisattva images. Okay, and what is the purpose of them? Now, I won't go into detail because I don't have any images to show you apart from what's behind me. This one here is in Tanka. I don't think it's very clear on the screen. Tanka is the Tibetan image. The reason they have these pictures instead of statues sometimes is because the nomadic people in the past. And so they could roll them up, and then carry them with them rather than carrying a statue. And above me there's some just Buddha faces. I don't think it's covering them all. And then, of course, this one here is from Thailand on here. Smaller ones at the back as well. But I don't think we can see them clear enough for me to explain the details within the images. As you study the sutras and the commentaries of the sutras, you will get to understand what these images mean once you compare them. Okay, because each Buddha image is like teaching, it's there to remind us. So I said to this person, that's what it's really, that's the main purpose. You look at an image of the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, or even your teacher, other people like Dalai Lama and other great masters. You look at them, this should remind you to practice, remind you to study and hear the Dharma, remind you to contemplate on the Dharma, and remind you to absorb your mind with the Dharma and put it into your everyday life, you know. So that's the main purpose of them. Do Buddhists bow to statues? No. Some Buddhists probably do. But we don't bow to a statue. That'd be silly, wouldn't it? You know, if you're bowing to something that's made from mundane, worldly things, bowing even to the image, but what the image stands for is what we bow to, what we put above ourselves, because our goal is aiming towards this. And so lowering your head to the ground, or however you do it, then this helps us to humble ourselves and to create great respect and appreciation for the Buddha giving the teachings and the masters giving the teachings, okay? So we're bowing to what it stands for, okay? Yes, we love the look of Buddha statues. I mean, it's so peaceful. I don't think I've seen too many statues that I haven't been really attracted to. But we should also give up this attraction, realize what it stands for, and it's what we're bowing to. I remember many years ago in Los Angeles, in the teenage class, there was this, he actually came from Korean American background. He eventually became a really good student, and he was one of the teenagers that I used to get to teach the children sometimes. And so, but he was really against bowing at the start of the class. I used to get everybody to bow at the same time as me, you know, and then we'd, you know, do that, and then we do some short chanting, and then we'd have the class. But he just refused to. So I asked him after class one time when there was nobody else around, and I said, "Why do you have such a resistance to that?" He said, "I just find it silly. Why would?" I said, "You know what? It's actually part of what you're saying, and your reason is good, but you're stopping there. You're not investigating why we actually do it." I said, if we were just bowing to a statue, then this would be silly. I said, imagine doing that, putting your head on the ground, your butt in the air in front of something that's made of stone or wood or something like that. I said, it's kind of silly, but you're bowing to what it stands for. The Buddha, a fully enlightened being, gave the teachings which are still alive today. We're so lucky. You know, we have the conditions where we can still practice them. There's people still teaching them. You know, it's just wonderful. And we should really appreciate that. And so bowing is one way of doing that. Of course, you can bow with your mind, because that's actually what we're bowing with, isn't it? We're using the body to be able to humble the mind, develop more respect in the mind. Okay, I think that covers that one. Then just to reiterate, well, there's one other one actually, and this relates to, it says that not getting what you want or getting what you don't want. And this relates to how people are complaining, and I don't mean to pick on anybody, but I find a lot of adults are behaving like children in this global pandemic. Now, that's not, I'm not belittling all of the difficulties obviously related to the sickness and the deaths, but even the businesses, the economy, and, you know, financial situations of people. I'm not belittling the struggles, okay? But I find a lot of people are kind of fighting against it like a little child throwing tantrums. Like wearing a mask, for instance. Yeah, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, walking upstairs or you know, something like that. But actually, it's really such a small thing to do. I'm not talking about masks as such. I'm just using that as an example right now, and also people's behavior in relation to it. You know, this COVID thing is here, okay? It is around. It has not gone away. Just because we want it to go away is not going to make it go away. Just like all of the other difficulties and sufferings we experience in the world. Of course, we cause them individually and collectively. Okay, so if we don't want them there, we must give up the causes of them, stop causing them. So you know, the people always saying, oh, we need to open up the economy, need to do this, need to do that. But actually, if we do that, in especially some places in the world at different times, this could lead to the death of many, many, many people. Okay, so I think we need to look at what is important. So the question I will ask that is a rhetorical question. Is the problem that we have something like a global pandemic now, or is it that we're not getting what we want? Or that we're getting what we don't want? We don't want to have masks. We don't want to be in lockdowns. We don't want all of these things. So I think actually the reaction to it is what's causing most of the suffering that we go through mentally. Okay. And so have a look at that in yourself. If you are kind of fighting against these things, even taking political sides or whatever, because different, you know, like it's like if I use America as an example, the Trump guys didn't want to wear masks, but the other guys did. You know, I think that's happened in Australia a bit as well, in some other countries. It's really childish. We need to really be responsible, not paranoid, not scared, but responsible. And think something like this, rather than what can I get away with? Think, how can I help? What is it that I can do and not do that is going to at least not cause harm, but also how can I help? And this relates to all of our aspects of our lives. You know, I think if we understand the law of karma, then we can then kind of accept more our conditions in life. That doesn't mean we don't do something about it by practicing the Dharma and purifying the mind and everything else. But if we can accept here and now, then this lessens our level of suffering, doesn't it? Because we're not going to add the extra stuff of the worry, of the dislike, of the anger. Like I've said many times, in life we experience difficult stuff. Why create extra difficult stuff? Don't do it. That worry, that anger, and so forth is extra stuff. We don't need to do it. We actually can stop it here and now. You know, once again, that doesn't mean that you don't make your mind up to change this. But then again, don't try to change it, or don't expect, like I say, the McDonald's syndrome, where you get your burger right now. You know, this may take some time to change these things. To use an example, of course, it's a veggie burger that I'm talking about. But actually to have a nice veggie burger rather than the ones at McDonald's or the other stores, it takes some time and takes fresh ingredients. So maybe take a little bit more effort, okay? I hope you don't mind my metaphors today. I mentioned last week about being kind to ourselves. This is part of being kind to ourselves, you know, to help ourselves to keep our mind as calm as we can, as positive as we can, okay? Keep checking your mind, especially your intentions. And also be kind to others. This is a way of doing this. Of course, if we can all at all be of help to others, you know, physically and so forth, then should do that as well. But at very least through our attitude, we can be kind to others, okay? I mentioned put down your mental baggage and brighten and lighten your mind. This is what we're talking about. Maybe you can remember that one, that little quote, okay? Put down your baggage, lighten your mind. And then the other one was also share your riches with the paupers and keep your poverty to yourself. I mentioned this is about your mind, to share the rich attitudes with others and to keep your poor attitudes to yourself so that you don't cling to them, but so that you can work out how to let them go, work out the solution, you know, rather than adding to the problem, become the solution. But if you look at it from a worldly outside point of view, yeah, if we have the riches to share with others that need them, we should do it, okay? And if we're finding it difficult ourselves, now we look for a solution to fix our problems. If it's, say, financial, for instance, look for solutions calmly, all right? But don't put this on others as well. In fact, you can actually ask others for help. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't let your ego get in the way of asking others for help. They may be really happy to be of service and help you. Sometimes we really need to do that, especially as we grow, as we get older and we're unable to do certain things physically. We can ask others to help us. And this creates some sort of friendly kind of connection with others too, isn't it? Never feel embarrassed to ask for help. And so I know that we're under 1 minute, maybe 20 seconds or so to go. Hopefully you've enjoyed the class. If more questions come for next week, then I will answer them. Otherwise, we'll start to talk about the 6 paramitas. But keep the questions coming if you want. Okay, that's really up to you, like I said before. Take care of yourself.